The Warthog, one of Halo's most iconic vehicles, has been a staple of the franchise for decades. From its first appearance back in 2001, the Warthog has been the source of countless hours of assisted game ending and epic campaign finales. During Halo's many campaigns, the Warthog has seen mixed use from absolute necessity to complete uselessness, but as each new game is released, it becomes more and more obvious that the Warthog will never see the great heights it achieved in Halo Combat Evolved. Unlike other vehicles in Halo's first iteration, the Warthog was completely immune to damage. No matter how many bullets were emptied into this souped-up Honda Civic, nothing short of driving it off a cliff would keep John 117 from using it as a high-speed battering ram. Today, we will be visiting one of Combat Evolved's more enjoyable levels, the Silent Cartographer, where with some ingenuity and a thirst for masochism, it is possible to beat this entire mission using, you guessed it, a Hogwart. You may be asking yourself, why would I ever want to experience pain and suffering equal to playing the mall with music turned off? If you cannot answer this question immediately, this tutorial is not for you. After a lovely monologue from our favorite AI waifu, we find ourselves storming the beaches of Normandy. As soon as we have become one with the LZ, our first order of business is to run away and leave the Marines behind to fend for themselves. After a light jog around the island, we come across an abandoned Warthog, excited to weaponize it as an off-road Covenant shinbuster. Driving back to the LZ, we see the Marines and elites have struck a peace treaty, which is immediately disbanded upon our arrival. I recommend picking up a Marine or two to operate the gunner seat on our Pig Pimple. This will help us clear the LZ from the elites that will make our lives completely miserable. The Warthog is invincible, but you, John, are not. Any damage given to the Warthog will be directly passed, like a repackaged Christmas gift, to your health bar. This is why it is incredibly vital that you do not stand still, as the grunts have a habit of one-shotting you with plasma grenades. If they do stick you, you have two options: perish in a blaze of glory, or jump off and watch your Warthog compete in professional gymnastics. After clearing the LZ, it's time to travel to the other side of the island, but first the UNSC will drop off one more Warthog, which you will be required to climb in. Feel free to choose whichever Warthog you like. Both will crush your enemies just the same. Arriving on the other side of the island, Bungie has given us a land ramp to retroactively dispense justice for Halo 2's sniper jackals. After relocating our enemies' souls, you'll find several health packs on the beach to refresh your skill level and plenty of ammo to think about using next mission. Up ahead is every tree hugger's fantasy. Back up your piglet, pick up some speed, and squeeze past the left side of the tree. If you get stuck, try again until you find yourself face to face with more Covenant. Thankfully, there is just enough room to squeeze past every tree and rock in your way up the mountain. If you're okay with flattening some grunts and grass, that is. Again, be careful the grunts don't force you to hit the reset button. After reaching the pass end, feel free to drive through the hunters. Normally these would be a challenge, but with the power of Warthog and anime on our side, they are nothing more than overrated speed bumps. Their dodge refreshes their weapon cooldown, so when their moving starts, their shooting stops, and you Spartan are safe for now. After passing through several groups of enemies, we find ourselves ready to enter the control room. Murk a couple grunts, drive inside the facility, and discover there are several giant eggplants blocking the way. There are several strategies for overcoming this roadblock, the best of which is to drive it backwards. Turn your Warthog and hop right over. This is possible because the Warthog is better at scaling 90-degree surfaces. After bottoming out your vehicle, pull a quick 180 and tenderly cuddle the newly spawned hunters. Make sure your health is at a reasonable level before venturing into the Pit of Despair. You'll need it on the way out. Once you disable security, you can now access the map room. However, a gang of invisible elites have heard of your escapades and would rather you not steamroll their efforts. They corner you in an enclosed space, which is your greatest weakness and their greatest mistake. Discover what happens when an invisible force meets an immovable object, and repeat these maneuvers to earn the privilege of leaving this place behind. Once outside, I recommend grabbing the extra shields on the right and using the Warthog's built-in battle rifle to pick off every enemy down below. After clearing the beach, visit the downed Pelican and pick up the Spanker rocket launcher. This may be useful later. Next up is to raid the map room. Again, clear all the infidels and proceed down into the abyss, somehow just wide enough for our steel swine. If you enjoy pinball, you will be fascinated by Master Chief's attempt at a new high score. Once exiting Attack on Mars, you'll find yourself at another impasse. The Warthog can fit through the upcoming doorway, but only halfway. Luckily, where one Warthog fails, two fits the bill. There's a total of 3 Warthogs on the island, so running back towards the starting beach or crashed pelican will give us another majestic steed to assist our previous step hog. If you desire, you may even grab the 3rd Warthog as well and push 2 vehicles through the door. The more the merrier. This hallway is pretty tight, but after taking a left and a right, you'll have entered the gulag. But instead of a 1v1, it's a 1v16, and all the grunts are professional pitchers for the MLB.
What the? Man! Holy moly! Ah!
Strategies for this room include high-stakes bumper cars or using the hog turret to its fullest potential. It may take a couple tries to get this room cleared, but thankfully the previous hallway was a checkpoint, so if at first you don't succeed, try again. Be careful though, some jackals will join the party once most of the enemies are wasted. Their plasma pistols do not feel particularly good. If you want to use this specific Warthog later, now's the time. Drive back to the doorway you previously squeezed through, backwards, and try to align the Warthog so it's slightly a kilter to the ground. Take the second Warthog we pushed through the doorway and drive it 5 miles an hour into the other Warthog. It may take a couple of tries to get right, but eventually it should squeeze halfway through. The next part is tricky, but if you use a grenade and that handy rocket launcher from earlier at the same time, you should be able to push the Warthog back out the doorway. Ah, the miracle of Warthog birth. Going back to our objective, let's say we drive the last trapped Warthog onto a platform overlooking death itself. What then is our next course of action? It is my professional opinion that just like any sane man, we drive straight off into the chasm of death below and hope to land on the outcropping platforms beneath us. If you think that this is a bad idea, too bad this is the strategy required to finish this mission. Once you've stuck the landing, plow through multiple enemies until you reach a door too small for even the skinniest of sows. Here we must leave our precious Warthog. Make sure it is placed fairly close to the doorway. This is imperative for our survival. After a classic "this isn't goodbye, see you later" speech, proceed down the hallway into the map room. I strongly recommend picking up the active camo along the way, so the 2 elites guarding the entrance don't end your career. One short cutscene later, run straight back out the way you came. There should be a checkpoint you hit right after your active camo gives out. This is where boys become men. In order to safely get back to the Warthog without ruining our oath of pacifism, you'll need to sneak past a grunt. He will see you climb up the ramp, but as long as he doesn't give chase, you're golden. I recommend following this line to keep the other assorted enemies from seeing your exodus. If you remain unseen, wait by this pillar until you receive another checkpoint. The Jackal's cousins from earlier want revenge, and 4 of them have placed themselves on the sole escape route back to the Warthog. Your only option? Hope they have bad aim. The pillar we hid behind obscures Chief from the direct line of sight of the Jackals, giving us precious seconds of runtime while the Jackals muster up the courage to shoot their blasters. If you left your Warthog close to the door, congratulations! Celebrate your reunification with Covenant sacrifices. Stroll past, or better yet through the Covenant guards, Tokyo drift into a few more Jackals, and enjoy the greeting party of hunters, Jackals, elites, and grunts waiting for you in the next room. Feel free to approach this encounter in your preferred manner, but just so you know, there are some sweet health packs on the opposite end of the room. Best to kill the enemies before grabbing those, but if you can't wait, just get good and don't get shot. After laying waste to the Covenant, pat yourself on the back. The hard part is over, until you realize you must part ways with your trusty Warthog forever. That's right, it's too late to back out now. You must sacrifice this Warthog to complete the mission. It's been a good ride, but all good things must come to an end. Abandoning your beloved beast, you sneak past the remaining Covenant in the baseball field. A single tear rolls down your helmet. Return to the remaining 2 Warthogs. If you feel like sacrificing another friend in the name of justice, go back and avenge her name, adding another 14 counts of vehicular Covenant slaughter to your already astounding KDW. Drive the remaining Warthog to the surface. Enjoy clowning invisible elites for 3 minutes, trying desperately to hide your remorse and regret at leaving a loved one behind. Once you clear the LZ, hold X on the Pelican to end the mission. Watch as you fly off into the sunset, maybe taking a screenshot or 2 in remembrance of your fond friends. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If this challenge sounds right up your sniper alley, remember, if it's not legendary, it did not happen. Share your success with friends and family who will be seething in jealousy at your incredible skill level, and watch them suffer as they try to replicate this grand endeavor. If you'd like to make other YouTubers shake with greed, I suggest dropping a mouse click on the subscribe button. It's the best way to ensure you follow my content so YouTube can somehow not put it in your subscription box. Let me know how much you hate sniper jackals in the comments below, and I'll see you Spartans in the space.